This week we are going to be working with images and links. So there is a lot of content to cover this week. And because of that, the lecture demo has kind of been split into a couple different parts. First, you will start with the web-based readings. And there's readings on images, links, and then the image editor that we're going to use is online. So you do not have to download and install anything. It is called LunaPic. And there are tutorials on how to use LunaPic. These are optional. The lecture demo will also walk you through how to use LunaPic. So you're going to want to read through this. And then we get into the lecture demo, which is split into 3 sections. And I recommend doing sections 1 and 2 kind of together, and then doing 3 separately. Sections 1 and 2 deal with images and editing images. So the first section is all about the image formats that you see on the internet and how to edit the images in LunaPic. The second one is basically how to stick images into your web pages. So the HTML used for images. So this second reading is relatively short. And the first one is longer. And that is because there's a lot of graphics in here. So when you look at this, there are just tons and tons of graphics and a lot of tutorial instructions as far as how to modify the size of images. And it kind of walks you through adjusting those images in LunaPic. Now, if you are familiar with Photoshop or a different editing program, feel free to use that. Okay, the reason I picked LunaPics for our class is because it's free and it doesn't require downloading and installing anything. The second reading, as I mentioned, this is strictly the HTML that you need to put your image into a page. And so this is very, very short. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is here. And then we get into hyperlinks. And hyperlinks, there are 2 different types. There's a link that's called an internal link. Some people refer to them as bookmarks, but it basically takes you from one section of the page to another. And then there's an external link, which is to other pages. And for external links, you may be linking to your own pages or pages that somebody else created. If you are linking to somebody else's work that's on a different server, then you are going to use what's called an absolute link, which is basically the whole entire URL. If you are linking to another one of your pages, then you give it a partial link. Okay, if I was going to link to a page that was already on lisaballbeck.com, it was in my CIT180 lesson 3 folder. Okay, so this information stays the same. And the only thing that's going to change is the name of the page. Then when I create my link, all I have to do is give it the name of the new page. So that's called a relative address. It looks at where you're at, and then you determine what the link should be based on your current location. Okay, so there's the absolute address, which is the whole entire thing, and the relative address, which is a portion of the link. In addition to working with web page addresses, you will also learn how to link to other types of media and how to do an email link. So that is the assignment. The lecture demo is lengthy and it is split into 3 parts, but it is important that you go through all those 3 parts so you understand what you are doing. And it's usually around this time of the semester that people who are using FileZilla would like to know is there a way to save the location for the host, the username, and the password so that you don't have to keep typing it in? And yes, there is. So this article explains how to use the site manager, which is where you would go to save that information. And this is not required. It's totally optional, but for those of you that are getting tired of typing that in, there is a way to save it. And then that brings me down to assignments. So we have our textbook assignment, which has videos for all the tasks. And then we have the lab assignment, which is more free format. So for the textbook assignment, you're going to do this first. This is fairly directive. There are going to be files that you're going to be downloading. Make sure you right click on those and select save target as or save link as. Okay. And you don't want to left click and save the page. Because if you left click and then you save the page, what the browser will do is it'll create additional folders, it'll mess up your links, and it won't work the way it's supposed to. So anytime you see anything to download, make sure you right click, and it'll either say save target as or save link as. But you'll notice that we start by creating some folders, and then we download some images that you're going to be modifying in Lunapic. And there is a video that you can watch. And I do have graphics in here that kind of show you what you're going to be doing. And so tasks 2, 3, and 4 all deal with images. When you get to task 4, you're actually going to add the images to an existing web page. So you are going to download Mackinac Photos. And again, you're going to right click, save link as to download. And then there's a couple additional graphics you're going to download. And then you are going to put the graphics into this page. And so I've got the code that you should use unless you change the file names. In which case, if you change the names of the graphics, then you are going to have to put whatever you name them in the code instead. And you're also going to add links. So you're going to add images and then you're going to add links. And you can see that here's the image. And then around that, you have the opening anchor and the closing anchor. So then this little thumbnail becomes the link. And that's done quite often, where you take a thumbnail and you link it to a larger graphic. And then I should point out that this link is a relative link because it's going from your current location. But this link has the entire web address. So this is absolute. Okay, so this is in a completely different location than your web page. Once you're done with that, you're going to download another file. This is Yosemite, and download a couple graphics for that. And then you will be placing the graphics in that page as well, in addition to some links that will be at the bottom. Okay, so this is the code that you're going to be adding to the bottom. Then we have another page where you're going to be practicing internal links, which are also called bookmarks. So there's a page and a graphic to download there. And then once you are done, you're going to transfer everything to the web. Now, one problem that people have is that when things are online, they are case sensitive. So what does that mean? That means that if you named the graphic Marquette Park with a lowercase p, then you have to use that exact same upper and lowercase spelling for all of the HTML that is referencing Marquette Park. Okay. If you check things offline, quite often they will work, but online they will not. Okay. Things are case sensitive when they are online. So just try to remember that. That's why it's so important that after you transfer your pages, you check them live online. And then we've got our lab assignment. Now, this is more free format because I don't tell you what you need to create your page on. You do need to kind of read through NMC's Title IX and the Student Code of Conduct because you have to follow those. Okay, but the topic that you pick is up to you. And what you're going to end up with, this is the code, but this is kind of what it's going to look like. You're going to pick a theme, and you can see I picked big cats, and you're going to have a thumbnail that links to a larger picture. This is a web optimized picture. It's width of 400, and this has got a width of 200. And then you're going to have some text about it. And the text, you can see that I retrieved it from National Geographic, and I put it in double quotes. So it's not like you have to write the great American novel here. You certainly can copy from another source and, just cite it and give them credit. Okay, you can see I've got tiger here and links. So you are going to do something similar. Okay, it could be animal, but it could be like bridges. Let's say you like bridges, or you like cities at night. So it could be nighttime graphics of cities, basically anything you want. Pixabay is a really good source. And they have royalty-free images. This is where I normally would go. And you can pretty much search for anything you might want. And don't choose sponsored, go below that. And that's where you get the royalty-free. Okay, so there's a lot of really cool pictures here. And, if you find one that you like, okay, you just click on it, click on download. I'd probably pick the smaller size and download that. Okay, and then it's a matter of uploading to Lunapix and creating a thumbnail and a web optimize out of that graphic. And you'll need to pick 3. Okay, it has to be kind of a theme. Okay, so that is the first part of the assignment. And then the second part is just updating your assignment page with links. So at this point, you've got lesson 2 and you've got lesson 3. And this is what it's going to look like. And you are going to convert those paragraphs into links. So you've got to make this the opening anchor and this the closing anchor. And you have to have the href in there. So if you named yours similar to mine, then you could create links that look like mine. But quite often people name their pages differently than what I tell them to. And again, upper and lowercase is different. So you can see I've got road not taken, capital R, capital N, capital T. That has to be the exact way that I named my page. If I did it all in lowercase, this link would not work. Okay, so that is one thing you really need to pay attention to. So you do need to do the links in the assignment and lab sections. And then you're going to add a graphic to your assignment page. And you can go to this free PowerPoint graphic site. And you can pick a color range that you like. Okay, and then it's just a matter of finding a graphic that you like. And you'll have to get to kind of a larger image, and then you can right click and save image as. Okay, and then that can be used as your background. And anything that's got like a kind of a design on the side or something like that, or maybe across the top like this, those work really well for our pages. Okay, so you could download any of those, or you can go to Pixabay. So let me get out of here. And a lot of the graphics on Pixabay are going to be darker. And so keep that in mind when you are creating this. If you pick something that's dark, your text is not going to show up very well until you learn CSS. And I'm okay with that. This is a beautiful background, but just realize if you're putting dark black text on it, it is not going to show up very well. So that is something that you will have to kind of overcome when we could get into the CSS portion. You could also upload that page or that background to Lunapic and change the opacity, which would make it lighter. So it's kind of up to you how you want to handle that. But I do have a video in here on how to lighten a background image. Okay, also how to download the image from that free PowerPoint site. And finally, how do we get the image into our page? So we're going to add it to our body tag. And this is pretty much the code you're going to be using, except, you will name the page something. I named my background when I downloaded it. Yours may not be called background. So whatever you called your page, that's what you need to put there. But here is an example of what it should look like when you're done. Okay, and then you will transfer all of your pages. When you are done with the textbook and lab assignments, you're going to come into the drop boxes and you're going to submit the word done. And that is how I know it is ready for correcting. Now, with this assignment in particular, people do have a lot of problems with upper and lower case lettering. And so things will work when they view it offline, but they don't work when they view it live. So, if you can't figure out why your link isn't working or why your image is not displaying, just send me a link to your page and tell me what the problem is. And I guarantee I'll be able to figure it out quickly and I will let you know. Okay, so that is what we're working on this week. Under resources, I do have links to different places you can get background graphics and regular graphics from. Okay. And also a link to tutoring. So obviously you can get help from me during live streams, which I've live stream office hours Sunday night, Monday and Wednesday afternoon, and Tuesday night. On Thursday during the day, and then later in the afternoon on Friday, there is on-campus tutoring as well. So a lot of opportunities for you guys to get help if you need it. So if you do need help, please let me know because I am here to help you.